I want to tell you a bit how I'm going to run the classes, okay, and how they're going to be perhaps slightly differently from the usual format that you'd see in other classes, and how to make the best of them. Okay. So first of all, everything that I write on this board, you will have access to it instantaneously after the class. So don't feel like you need to write everything down that I write in here. Personally, I like to just listen and try to focus on what's being said. But if you're the type that you like to write things down and it helps you with your thinking, by all means do that. But you'll have full access to all of these notes. Okay? So how do you access this note? Let me show you. If you go onto Moodle page, and let me go for a student view of this. If I go to student view, which is how you'll see Moodle when you open this up. So when you see Moodle and you open this up, you will see now I've introduced a new section called Revis class videos and notes. So if you click on links to class notes folder, this has been pretty much automatically synchronized into here. So you'll have week 2 notes. So if I click on this, you will see this is what I did with the previous group. And you can actually see kind of like all the notes. Once they synchronize in full, you'll be able to see really all the notes that has happened into that particular group. Let's see, like this will synchronize probably very quickly. But I will have every week by week, notes that you will see for each group. So basically, you won't just have your notes, but you'll have notes from every group that I've done. And I literally just did this 5 seconds ago, right? So if you look at it, this is your plan, which is into here. So fear not, like everything that will be written here will be automatically synchronized. I don't even have to think about it. It just gets there and you have access to it, okay? That's the first thing. The second thing is I will try and tailor each class to the group that I'm working with. I'm going to try and divide the classes between questions that you might have, and questions can be about lecture material, can be about previous problem sets, can be about a previous video that I've done. And what I will do is I will try and answer your questions. And if they are questions that I think are worth recording, I will also record those questions so other people in other groups can have access to them. Okay, so that's going to be roughly my first half, or sometimes even the whole class. I will try to just tackle particular questions that you have about the course. And then, of course, I'll try and cover the problem set. Okay, I will have goals on what I want to cover during the week, but I will not have goals on what I will cover during a particular class. Okay, so for example, my goals of the week are to make sure that if you had any questions on handout 1 from the lectures, I'll be able to cover all those questions. If you had any questions, and I'll be able to cover all the problem set 1 questions in full, and you'll have videos for those. So to give you an idea of this, if you go back to Moodle, you will see links to class videos and notes. So if you click on that, you'll see, for example, one of the questions that came up in group 1 recording was, I really didn't understand this concept of elasticities. Can we go a little bit in much further details on that concept? So for example, if any of you had a question about elasticities, I would say, I've had a video for that, have a look at it. If you still have questions, come back next week, okay? And we can discuss questions that you might have had on that particular, week 2 elasticities. And if you had trouble with volume and price effects, that will also be relatively straightforward because you can go and look at this video and see what I discuss on that volume and price effects, okay? And this is pretty much the things that I focused on that class. What I'm hoping is that by the end of the week, I'll have all your questions about the lectures, kind of answer that, and I'll also have all the different questions on the problem set. Okay, so every class might be slightly different from the other, but all the key information will be there. Okay, so let's go back to this logistics bit. So notes and how to access them, you know it. Videos and how to access them, you know it. General coverage in classes, you get a sense, and hopefully what I'm hoping for is that we're really going to have discussion. So I don't care if we cover one topic or if we cover 2 subparts of a question, as long as we're having a discussion and you're walking out of the class thinking, I really didn't understand that, but now I do. Okay, So I don't want to be just shooting information out, but I really want to grapple with particular problems that you have. And you'll see in a second that it will be very much driven by your question rather than a particular thing in mind. What happens if you miss classes? Nothing happens. You're adults, okay? Nothing will happen if you miss a class or two. So don't worry much about that. Of course, you should attend every class, but if something happened and you have to go to an interview and it couldn't make that week, it's not going to be a big deal. You can come back to the videos, you can come back to the notes, you can come back to your other classmates. If you are particularly concerned about your attendance, you might want to shoot me an email and give me a reason for it, so I don't mark you as absent, but I mark you as absent with reason. Chances are I will not read those emails, my assistant will, and I tell her 99.99999% of the cases, you will change someone's attendance from absent to absent with reason. Okay? So if you have a good reason and you don't want to be marked as absent for whatever reason, I personally wouldn't see any difference into those two things for your case, unless of course you do that repetitively, right? And then we're in a bit of an issue. So missing classes, no big deal. What happens if you want to swap class? So you were supposed to come here at 3, but you can't make the 3. What should you do? Go to another seminar. Okay? Go to another seminar, and the way you go to another seminar is very easily. All you have to do is go on to, let's go into here and say LSE timetable. And you can find the timetable by course. So I'll go to timetable viewed by course. I'll go under MG. I'll find MG431. MG431. And then you'll see that if you missed this particular course, you could see the full range of classes that I have. And you don't have to email me for that, okay? You can just show up to a different group slot, okay? And I will just update your attendance that way. Here we go. Right? So for example, I have a class on Monday from 1:30 to 5, and you can see all the classes that I have throughout the whole group. Of course, the understanding of that is that I want to make it super easy for you to swap into different classes, and I don't want to put any level of bureaucracy there. You have to send me an email and get approval from me or anything of that sort. It comes with that extra bit, which is don't abuse it. If you need to switch permanently to somewhere else, just switch permanently. The other thing is that as long as there is spaces available, I'll let everyone kind of come in. But if there's no space available, I'll just tell you, I'm sorry if you're not in this class. We're full. Try a different one. Okay, so those are going to be the constraints. But if you need to swap a class, it's totally okay, right? You shouldn't feel bad about it or anything of that sort, right? You should feel bad about it if you permanently want to switch on that and you kind of like use that as a way to permanently switch. And I don't mind if there's space. If there's space available, you can switch anyway. Okay. Good. So that's swapping classes and missing classes. And then the final thing is, how do you contact me? Let's do a little game. Let's rank best ways to contact me from 1 to 3. What do you think is my favorite way to contact me?
Email.
That's my least favorite, okay? So let's start with my least favorite. It's emails. Emails. What do you think is my favorite?
WhatsApp.
No?
In person, office hours?
In person, right? And actually better in classes. If you have a question in class, chances are that other people will have it as well. So even if you have a logistic question, just ask it in class. If you have a personal question that you want to just have a private conversation, either catch me before class or after class, or book a slot in an office hour, right? So sometimes you might have an individual question, I couldn't do this question 3. Let's do it together, right? Ideally, you would ask me that in class so that everyone that didn't understand question 3 could get a video out of question 3 and it would be a lot better, right? But if you want to see me, you can see me at office hours. So the best way to reach me is via face-to-face in-class conversations, okay? So that would be my favorite way. Face to face in class. What's my next second favorite? It's office hours. And you can book them in LSE for you. Emails is my least favorite, but I know that occasionally you might need to reach me at short notice. Let me give you a case. It's week 8. I know you quite well by week 8. Like we would have interacted at least in 8 classes. John finds out that it's Thursday night, and on Friday at 5 p.m. he has this deadline of his dream internship, right? And he needs a reference. That might be a good time to use my phone, okay? Because I'm not going to check my emails. You're not going to have a chance to get to me on an office hour. So if you need to reach me at short notice, this is my phone number. Usually text would work best. Text would work best to reach me. So I've been giving my phone numbers for the past 8 years that I've been at LSE. I've never had any problem with it. People are very respectful of it. They use it when they really feel like there is an emergency. Occasionally, a very, very small minority will send me a text and be like, Ravi, I'm really sorry I can't make this week. And I'll be like, okay. Right? So you don't have to send me those kind of texts or anything of that sort. It's a very small minority, and I know they're just trying to be polite. It's not about, trying to bug me or anything of that sort. That's it. And these are logistics, and I will